Well, good faith. I've tried to listen to both sides. And again, I know probably in terms of views and clicks, I'd get more if I just said, whatever, Scoville's evil, scummy, liar, yada, yada, yada. Marilyn will be vindicated in the court. But, and I've dealt with a lot of different aspects of what the lawsuit will entail. But let's get to one aspect where I just don't see how she's going to win, period. Unless she gets incredibly lucky, depending on the judge, who will just be super biased in her favor, which would not help, frankly, because we have a thing called the appeals process. So one aspect here, I don't think she can ever win. Now, Marilyn was telling a little bit of the truth that, yes, these kinds of cases are hard, right? That's why most people just don't get involved in these kind of lawsuits because it's just very taxing. Takes a long time. You may not win. The actual damages you collect, kind of small, pathetic, wasn't worth even having the lawsuit, etc., etc., etc. But I think she's misleading herself and misleading her audience. Now, why do I say this? Well, it depends again what they're going to sue over. But if Scoville he's going to sue over several things. But there's one aspect that I think I don't see. Yes, case closed. He's going to win. So, and Marilyn is affirming both. She's saying she didn't say this, but she's saying, yeah, I kind of did say it. And I can prove it. Okay, but her receipts don't prove what he's alleging. And again, this is an allegation, but apparently, because he kept saying this one phrase and or sentence over and over again. So I feel very confident that he does indeed have some video or audio file where she is saying these things. And now I'll just do one legal thing, which is pretty obvious. Like, you can only collect damages if you share this with a third party, right? And what's hilarious is her chat is condemning her because they're affirming, yes, you said these things, we heard you say these things, and we're supporting you. So that is gone. That is indisputable fact. She is sharing this with a third party, namely her audience. Okay, well, that's gone. So at least this one aspect, you're going to lose. So she's saying that, again, this is what he's alleging, that he was a rapist his entire life. Namely, he didn't just commit one vicious, ugly crime of this nature, which he did when he was a minor, but that he did it repeatedly. The obvious problem here is we have no evidence of that. We have evidence he did it once and only once. We can say other things. Was he stealing throughout his entire life? Yes. Was he committing fraud? Yes. Etc., etc. And good or bad, and depends on how good his lawyers are, they can argue that nowhere implies he would commit those acts again. At all. Period. Right? I mean, those were violent crimes, right? Bank robbery. But obviously, this is just simple logic. Whether you like Scoville or not, that's right. Try to not be biased here. In a court of law, you can say, oh, well, he's really, really bad. Okay, what's he really bad? Why? Why is he really? Oh, he committed a bank robbery. Right. You've got to convince a judge, and you're also trying to persuade the lawyer opposing you. Okay, you're leaping from he committed this kind of crime once. Okay, so be it. And he's a bank robber. Therefore, he's committed these kinds of crimes repeatedly his whole life. Now, when it comes to stealing and fraud and things like that I think we're pretty safe ground on. But that's it. We only have this one case. So can you legitimately say that because you did this one thing as a minor, from now on, I can affirm you did it your entire life? In other words, you have tons of victims. Okay? Who are these victims? Marilyn doesn't name any. And namely, you've been doing this, you just haven't been caught. Okay, what's the evidence for this? Nowhere does Marilyn allude to any evidence to justify that statement. So, and she's saying, no, I never said that, but if I have to, I can prove this. But it's like, listen, I don't like Scoville. I've done a lot of expose videos, and I've listened to a lot of people who hate Scoville, and they also promise and claim, oh, yeah, he's done this. He has more victims. Okay. But they never give receipts. They never name names. They don't even name the dates, but they just say, oh, we promise you. Okay, that's nice. Promises are nice. Do you have actual video, audio, some kind of solid, tangible evidence that he did it not just once, but repeatedly? Right? And the answer is no. So you can label the guy all you please. What he's saying is you got to prove that. So that's very important. And it's frankly a low bar. He's like, okay, fine. Prove he did it more than once. And she hasn't done that. She just keeps going back to that one case. Right. And she's also lying about that. Again, I'm not defending him. I want to be very clear. I am not defending Scoville. He's going to admit that. They're going to stipulate that. And I think Marilyn is very confused how things work in a real court of law. But I actually have studied these things, unlike her. I don't know what lawyer she's talking to, but these lawyers are not very competent, frankly, or they're giving her radically optimistic projections, because probably what will happen is very quickly his lawyer will say, Your Honor, we will stipulate to all that. And if they want to refer to that, we are not going to contest that. And the judge will be, okay, fine. And if they try to keep invoking that, they're going to be like, we handle that. That is over. That is in the record. He's not denying he was convicted. The issue of this court is, can you prove beyond that one case he repeatedly did this over and over again? And Marilyn hasn't provided anything. She just keeps switching the argument. Which, and again, there is something there. It is bizarre that he's narrowing the focus to her. Why Marilyn? I mean, many other people, to put it mildly, have put out some damning videos. But I would have to defend him there that Marilyn has sometimes been very sloppy. So if she did, and she's not correcting herself, she's willing to say, oh, yes, I really do think this, but then she's denying it. So it's very, very confusing. So we are just playing ring around the rosy here. Again, can you prove he did it more than once? That's going to be the critical legal question. And my commentaries have been very clear here. We have this one incident. We can speculate there are more victims, but you'd have to be very clear. Those are speculations. And, well, I'm just going to break here, trying to be neutral here, because she keeps citing Knife Order, who's a Nazi. Knife Order is many things. He's not a criminologist, right? He's not an actual recognized expert. If you want to invoke his testimony or his validity or whatever, it's not going to matter in a court of law, because you'd have to prove, oh, yes, I know this to a science. I've handled this many times. I've looked over insanely similar cases. Okay, so unless Knife Order led a secret life of being a Batman criminologist, yeah, he can say whatever he pleases. It's like, oh, he's this for life. That does not mean anything in a court of law. But Marilyn can be shown that she was supporting, affirming, and embracing those kind of statements and Knife Order and these kind of people. And it's like, okay, that's all well and nice. Yeah. You hate Scoville, yada, yada, yada. Can you prove he has these multiple victims? And I've tried to give those videos a chance. I don't think he ever does that. So unless he can provide some evidence we've never, ever seen before, I don't know what Marilyn's talking about. I mean, if he's going to narrow the legal question to prove I did this more than once, this specific crime, I don't know what she's going to say. She's going to just keep babbling and babbling about, well, that one case and statistics, yada. Marilyn, you're not a qualified expert. The court is not going to take you seriously. And if he's willing to pay up the money, he can find his own experts and they'll say, yeah, and believe me, this is what you're going to find in most research areas. There's arguments for both sides. And even if you invoke statistical evidence, that is not a body. It's not habeas corpus. This is why that's the key legal doctrine. Produce the body, produce the witness. And nowhere is Marilyn hinting she has one, so it's like, well, you're going to lose. So maybe he's bluffing, this is not real, but if this is real and he keeps going with this, on that aspect, she's going to lose. She's going to 100% lose. And she knows that, so I don't know why she's babbling the way she is. But we shall see. Maybe she does have some hidden evidence we've never seen before, but I highly doubt it.